Hi dancers, it's Miss Nicole, and it's time for our first activity for the third week of Broadway Bound Camp. Today we're going to be making a mini supper plate fit for Snoopy, just like he talks about in the song that we danced to today. In your bag, you should find a Ziploc bag that's labeled Activity 1 Mini Supper Plate. Do not open up the baggies until you are ready to use the clay because it dries fairly quickly in the air. You should have 7 bags of clay. Red, yellow, blue, white, tan beige color, a sienna, a little bit of a darker tan color, and a nice chocolate brown. You'll also have a paper plate and a plastic knife. We're gonna start by making Snoopy's dog bowl. So go ahead and get your blue clay and take it out of your baggie. Now we're gonna use almost all of the clay except for one little pinch. So go ahead and take 1 pinch of the blue clay off, put it back into your baggie to save for later. And we're gonna roll our blue clay into a ball. You can roll it between your hands like this, or you can roll it on a table. Now we wanna smush it onto the table or flat surface just a little bit, and we're going to make what we call a pinch pot for his bowl. So take your thumb, press down in the middle to create a little indent, almost kind of like a little belly button. Then we're gonna go around the outside edge and pinch to create the sides of the bowl. Almost done. Mine looks a little thick on the bottom, so I'm gonna press my thumb down in just a little bit more and use 2 hands to make the outside edge look really nice. So you should have a shape that looks something like this. Grab your dark brown clay. I'm gonna take about half, a little bit less than half of this clay. So I've got 1 piece a little bit bigger, 1 piece a little bit smaller. I'm keeping the smaller piece, and I'm gonna put the bigger piece back into my baggie for later. Now we need to make some dog food for Snoopy, so take off little tiny pinches 1 at a time, and in your palm, just using 1 finger, we're gonna make a bunch of little tiny balls to put inside for Snoopy's kibble. You can do some bigger pieces, some smaller pieces. Just keep making a bunch of little tiny balls until you've got a bowl full of dog food. Excellent. Now that you've filled up your dog bowl full of dog food, I don't know about you, but I have a little bit of brown clay left, so I'm gonna put it back into the bag with my big hunk of brown clay. And I'm gonna just move this over onto my plate for right now so that I know it's all finished. Now let's start on some doggy bones. Grab your white clay for your dog bones. Now it's up to you whether you wanna make a couple of smaller dog bones or 1 big dog bone. Pinch off a piece of your clay. Roll it into a ball. Take 1 finger and roll it right in the middle so that the inside gets a little bit thin, but the outside pieces still stay thick. You might even want to use 2 fingers if yours is a little bit longer. Your fingers, and we're going to make kind of a heart shape on the edge. Indentation, and press down just a little bit to flatten it out. Great, now you have a dog bone. I've got a lot of clay left. I'm actually gonna save mine so I can make something else later, but you can use all of your white clay for this because this is all that we're going to need white clay for. If you're not using the rest of it right now, remember to put it back into your baggie so that it doesn't dry out while you decide what you want to use it for later. Now we move on to some of the human food Snoopy's singing about. It's time to make a hamburger. Take your bag of dark chocolate colored brown clay, and we're gonna use the rest of it for a hamburger. Take your hunk of clay, roll it into a ball once again. Now to make this into a hamburger patty type shape, I'm just going to take a couple fingers and press it down to flatten it out so it keeps its circular shape, gets nice and flat. Great. Now we need to make a bun for our burger. So move your patty over to the side and get your really light tan clay. Now this we're going to use to make not only the hamburger bun, but also a hot dog bun. So I'm actually going to roll mine into a little cylinder and cut it into about 3 equal pieces. So I've got 3 even pieces. I'm going to take one of those pieces and put it back in my bag. We're going to use that later for our hot dog bun. And each of these is going to be the top and the bottom of the hamburger bun. So choose one for the bottom, roll it into a ball. This one we're going to make look almost exactly like our hamburger patty. So put them right next to each other for size. Use your fingers and press it down into a flat bottom bun shape. I'm going to move my bun over here to make the top bun. We're going to do the same kind of thing, roll it into a ball first, except we want to make a rounded top this time. So this time I'm actually going to use my palm to keep it rounded on the top and pull it down from the top to make the sides a little thinner and keep a rounded top on my hamburger bun. So if you look at it from the side, you can see it almost looks like a little mountain. And check the size. Yep, looks great. I've got a top and bottom bun. I'm almost ready to start putting my hamburger together. Let's put these over to the side for a second and make a couple of things to go on our hamburger. So I'm gonna use my red, and I'm just gonna take a little pinch about the size of my thumb. Yours would probably be about twice the size of your thumb if you have smaller hands. We're gonna make some tomatoes. So I'm gonna split this piece into 2. Make a little circle, make a little ball. Do the same thing with the other piece. And then we're gonna flatten them out to make some tomatoes. Just a little thumb smush, very gently. Ta-da! Tomato 1. And tomato 2. Let's make a little cheese to go on this as well. Take your yellow. I'm gonna make some delicious cheddar cheese. Now, if you want your cheese to be a little bit more orangey, you could actually mix up your red and your yellow. Let me show you how to do that. We would take 1 pinch of our yellow and about 1/2 pinch of our red. We want less red than yellow. And we're just going to mix it all up. You'll know that you're done mixing your color when you don't see any streaks. See how it all looks perfect and even and orangey? Now let's make this into a little slice of cheese. I'm gonna do a square slice of cheddar cheese. So I turn it into a little ball, flatten it into a circle, and to make sure my edges are really nice, I'm gonna use my knife to cut it into a square shape. I want a little American cheese on mine too, so let's do the same thing, but just with a little pinch of yellow. Flatten it out. And if you would rather not cut, you can just use your fingers to pinch it into a square-like shape. Last but not least, I'm gonna make some lettuce to put on mine too. In order to make green, we're going to mix just a 1/2 pinch of blue, maybe just a little bit more than that, and about a pinch of yellow. Again, I've got more yellow than I have blue. Same thing we did with our orange. Just keep rubbing it between your fingertips until you've got a beautiful shade of green. And I've got a beautiful green for some lettuce. I'm gonna smush this out into a nice flat piece. And you know what? I think I'm actually gonna just tear mine into 2 pieces to make some nice pieces of lettuce. Usually lettuce is not perfectly round, so I'm just gonna push my finger around the outside edges to make it look very lettucey. Yeah, that looks good. Let's do the same thing with the other one. Just play around with it until it looks the right way. That's the great thing about clay. If it doesn't look nice, you can just ball it up and start again. Awesome. I've got 2 pieces of lettuce now. Let's assemble our hamburgers. Bottom bun. Hamburger patty. Cheese and more cheese. Lettuce. And tomato. And top bun. Looks like a sandwich fit for a Snoopy. If you want it to be a little bit smaller, you could squish it together, but I kind of like how tall mine looks. Once you're all finished, put it over on your plate, and let's move on to our hot dog. For the hot dog, we're gonna do some mixing as well. Take your medium tan color. It's kind of an orangish, tannish kind of color. And a little pinch, decent sized pinch of red. We're gonna mix these two together to make our hot dog. You should have more of the tan color than the red color. Mix it all up till you make a perfect shade for a hot dog. Awesome, look at that nice even color. Wow, I don't know about you, but I think this looks like a perfect hot dog shade. So, making a hot dog is pretty easy. We're gonna roll it up into a ball once again, then put it on the table and just use a couple fingers to roll it into a hot dog shape. That looks perfect to me. Set it over to the side. Let's go ahead and make a bun. Grab whatever is left of your really light tan color, and let's roll it until it's about the same length as our hot dog. You might need to keep your hot dog nearby for reference. That looks about right. Now I'm gonna take my finger, I'm gonna use my pinky finger to make a little indent in the middle. And then I'm just gonna kind of play around with it a little bit to make sure it makes a nice bun kind of shape. Almost like a little boat. So now I've got my hot dog and my bun. I'm gonna move them over to the side for just a second because I would like some ketchup and mustard on my hot dog. Grab a little pinch and roll it into a long, skinny snake-like piece. You want it to be longer than the hot dog. And same thing with my yellow for my mustard. Now I'm gonna line mine right up next to each other, give a very gentle pinch so they just stick together. And I'm gonna cut off I got a little extra on the edge here. I'm gonna cut that off. Now it's time to assemble. Take your bun, put your hot dog inside, nestle it in there, make sure it's nice and snug inside of the bun. Take your ketchup and mustard, and I want to make mine a little bit wiggly all the way around. So I'm just kind of placing it down almost like a snake across the hot dog. I've got a little extra, so I'm just going to use my fingernail and pinch it off. Awesome! Hot dog, done. Put it on your plate. You probably have lots of clay left over. I made sure to give you plenty of clay, so feel free to use this clay for whatever you might want. Create some more food to put on your dish, create something else for yourself, have lots of fun with the clay. Look at all these beautiful clay creations we have. Now this kind of clay is gonna take about 24 hours to dry. That's about 1 day. So you'll have to wait until this time tomorrow to actually be able to play with it. You'll know it's dry because if you pinch it, it's not gonna move. And when you touch it, it doesn't feel sticky and wet anymore.